Hey everyone, welcome to Nerds Talk. I'm Mike.
And I'm Chris.
And today we are doing a nice little video for you guys in regards to all the video game news that has happened over the past couple weeks. We have the Nintendo Direct, we have this PlayStation's State of Play, and then Pokemon's stream that they did. Yeah. So we wanted to kind of just give you one video to recap all that, give you our thoughts on it, and kind of keep you abreast of all the announcements that kind of came out of that. So we'll start off with the Nintendo Direct, and there was a lot of announcements, but I don't feel like there was a lot of consequence to it.
Yeah, it was just like, here's some games. And I was surprised that they actually went further than, they said Q1, right?
They said the first half. They said the first half of 2021 is what they'd be focusing on.
Yeah, and they went way beyond that.
And they went
to 2022.
Essentially.
It was kind of crazy. I don't know why that would be announced and then they go...
They tend to do that because they want to set expectations. So if they didn't say that, everyone would be expecting all the big games, all the big announcements, and if they didn't get that, they'd be upset. So by saying we're only showing the first games, people are like, okay, there's not going to be a lot of big announcements, and then they have one or two surprises. It seems to they're hoping that that'll make everyone go, wow, this was awesome. Yeah. But unfortunately, the announcements that were there just didn't hit on all cylinders, at least for us.
Yeah, it didn't really hit anything that I was interested in. There were maybe 3 I can think of that might have really been interesting. I think we're on the same page for that as well.
Absolutely. So I mean, they opened up with the Smash Brother new character reveal, Pyra and Mithra. Yeah, it was what it was. A lot of people were expecting this for the first Fighter Pass. It didn't happen, so it would make sense that Xenoblade was getting another rep, considering it only has one, and it's a big franchise for Nintendo. So, okay, they're bringing in a female character to represent that series, and that's fine. But that means we only have 2 left. Does that sound right? Yeah, because they were announced 3, so there'll be 2 left. So there's this. It's kind of a little disappointing that, like, okay, are we gonna go back and just fill in gaps? Are we gonna get another Donkey Kong rep or another Zelda rep for Breath of the Wild 2? It'll be interesting to see which way they go. Yeah. But the only character I care about is not coming. So now I can't be disappointed anymore at this point, right? It is what it is.
I was surprised that they only announced 1 as well. I thought they would bookend them with 1 at the beginning, 1 at the end.
I agree.
I think they might have lost out, but maybe they weren't ready to announce it. They didn't have footage, or they weren't quite ready for it. I'm not sure.
So with COVID, there was obviously some delays, and they had stated that it delayed them by a little bit. But they were only off for about 2 to 3 weeks before they were back working from home. So I would expect 1 character dipping past that February 2021 mark. But the fact that we still have 3, that's pretty sad. Like, Nintendo, what have you been doing this past year? Like, there's no reason why you couldn't be developing working from home. A lot of other companies are doing it. So that was unfortunate. I thought at the very least 2 would be announced. The fact that we are missing 3 still, and the one that was announced is only coming in March, they're really behind. So that makes, COVID or no COVID, I don't think they would have gotten them all out in time. The way that things have been going, it just...
Do you think at E3 they'll announce the last 2?
They'll definitely announce 1. Yeah. That's June timeframe for sure. Yeah. But I think at that point they'd probably have to tease what the last one is, because people bought it, was expecting it by February. We're now in June, another 4 months later, right? Is that right, math? Yeah. So you would think that they would have to say this is what you're getting for that pass, and then maybe at that point announce, oh, we're announcing another pass, 4 more characters or 5 more characters, whatever, to keep the hype going, because this is the ultimate Smash game, and there's not going to be one better than this. Even if they add a new version with new characters, it's not going to have everybody. And so that's kind of why everyone wants their rep to give in this game the ultimate version, right? So if they're smart, they'll just keep this game going and just keep adding to it and never have to, do a new Smash. Just do Smash Ultimate for Switch 2, and guess what? It comes with this new pack with new fighters, and just keep adding to it and not have to redo it, right?
Yeah, it makes sense. They already have a great game. You just add to it and keep
expanding. Add new modes, add new features, and just keep growing it.
New levels, new soundtracks, all that stuff. It seems to work out really well, and it's still a big seller. Like, that game has not really gone on sale, and it's still very popular. And the expansion passes are working for them. Yeah, and it seems to fit into people's budgets. If they want to collect them all, they can collect them all. If they just want to collect who they like, or the figures, all those kind of things, it works for a whole bunch of different classes of collectors and players and gamers. So.
Exactly. And then if we skip ahead, there were some announcements to some smaller indie style games. We had a physical release for Hades. We had discussions for what's that called? The Secret of Mana. right? So they had like a new remaster of that game. We had
Monster Hunter
Rise, more information.
Yeah.
They showcased the what was it? This new game.
The dodgeball type game.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it looked like it was going to be a Switch exclusive because it only said on Switch, and we've never heard of it. So it debuted here. It was cartoony. So I'm thinking, okay, cool, like battle royale. Well, not really a battle royale, but basically
I was wondering
volleyball.
If maybe you could use
dodgeball.
the sensors if you have it, or the control pad if
Something,
it was
right?
dual. It would fit well for the Switch type system.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
With the Joy-Cons and everything like that. But we find out later in the Sony. Also
that it's coming on Sony, so it's not an
well.
exclusive. And why would you not want to just play it on the better visual? I mean, it is cartoony, so it may not have a big difference, but it looks like it's 3v3 because you have a team of 3 and you're going around and you're
I think it was either 1-on-1 or 3v3. There's like different type of scenarios. It looked kind of interesting and different, like an ultimate dodgeball explosion. Mm-hmm. You can even turn yourself into a ball and have your teammates passing it and charging it up and things like that. So that game looked interesting as well.
They talked about what was that game? What is it here? Sorry, I'm just going through here. Miitopia. They're bringing it from the 3DS out to Switch. That's one port that nobody expected or wanted to come out. Yeah, like
having Mii's come back to the Switch.
It wasn't even that great of a game at the time. Yeah. Like, I don't understand why they want to make a port to the Switch. Like, they're expecting a big sale. I don't know. Unless they're trying to revive the Mii's for some reason. We'll have to wait and see. What else is there? The Fall Guys is coming to Switch officially. And that was like, oh, okay, that's cool. That's some cool announcement. But then we found out it's coming to Xbox as well. Yeah. Same day and date. Yeah. So it is what it is. Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville. I don't know if that's a new version or if it's a rebranding of an older Plants vs. Zombies game, but it's coming to Switch regardless. Annapurna talked about their Neon White game. That was there. And then the only other announcements that stood out to me was the Mario Golf announcement, which was pretty cool.
Very cool. Yeah.
Mario games have always been done pretty well, and this one with this new speed golf. So to let everyone know, I've never played a Mario Golf game. I've never been a golf fan. Found it too slow paced. I love Mario Tennis, Mario Baseball, Mario Strikers, but golf, I was just like standing there, aim your shot. It just seemed very boring, and it didn't seem like it would be benefit. But when I saw this speed golf mode, I was like, this is cool. You're racing, using power-ups, you're beating each other up. Very Mario-esque, like baseball and tennis, you're using power-ups, you're knocking each other and stuff. That makes it a lot more fresh. And so that is the only thing that really made me actually double take and be like, you know what? Maybe I might give this one a go. This might be my jump in here. Yeah. A lot of characters and a fun, cool mode. So that looked pretty interesting. Looked beautiful.
Oh, yeah. It looked great. And I love how they're changing it up than, the normal, everyone golfs, takes their turn. It's like, you got to be... So I assume it's how many strokes, how fast you can do it. Maybe you get a time limit or a penalty or added strokes or whatever it may be.
The first one to get in the hole gets bonuses
extra
or something.
Points or less points takes points away or whatever. So it seems very interesting. And then you can get power up start. And then there's like an open... Wasn't there like a open area that you can make your own golfer as well?
Yes, it's the story mode, I think it was. Mode. And then, it's like an RPG where you level up. Like, do you want her to have more strength in her drive? Do you want her to have better spin on the ball for curve shots? Do you want to have better running speed for the speed golf portion or all sorts of different abilities? So you can customize your character and then you can use it online. But I'm like, I'd rather just stick to the Mario characters, right?
That's the bread and butter. That's why you're getting the game.
Exactly.
It's the Mario one.
Exactly.
And the other huge one is the Star Wars Hunter one.
That was an announcement that was unexpected. Yeah. So it came out and it said on Switch. I'm like, ooh, a Switch exclusive. But it's made by Zynga. They're a mobile game creator. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe they're dipping their toes in the consoles by Switch because
which is closest
mobile
to
friendly,
a mobile type,
and there's a younger audience, so they'll probably get a lot more people on it. And it looked really cool. The trailer was surprising. We saw
like dark figures with the red lightsabers and like a gun. And
Wookiee showing up. It looks like it's a battle royale game.
Yeah,
in a Coliseum.
Like they open the stage. Yeah,
and so it's basically a Star Wars version of. Again, we didn't see gameplay. We just saw a trailer with some character archetypes, a door opening, and a lot of smoke and fighting going on. Yeah. So we assume it's very much like a Fortnite. Get in there. You have all different classes. Go clash it out.
They say it's free to play.
It's free to play.
So that usually means some sort of battle royale type thing or fighting.
Correct. And you buy skins, customizations, or maybe some ability unlocks. We'll see. Yeah. But they announced it, which was awesome. And then later on, if you went to the website, it looks like it is also coming to iOS and Android, which sucks. So now it is a mobile game.
To the Pokemon Puzzle or Cafe where you can play on the Switch
both.
And your
which
game
I
carries
assume.
over. Yeah.
I assume, but I'm like, why would you want to play it on the iPad when you can play with a controller? So I feel like the Switch is the better place to play it. If it is like a Fortnite, because did they mention third person? I think they mentioned third person, but I could be wrong.
I didn't see.
It
was a very short trailer and didn't show much.
So if it is a third person battling game, then with the controls, you definitely want a controller more than an iPad or something like that to play it on, but we'll have to wait and see.
Now, did they say it was end of 2021 or 2022?
They said 2021. Yeah. They said coming 2021. So I assume it'll be the later half of this year. It's going to obviously hit mobile games to get as many people on that game as possible, free to play, to spend money. I just hope that my progress can carry over. So I'm playing on the Switch, and then I have to go. I can still pick up a match or do whatever I want. Yeah. Take a part of an event.
Continue to up experience points and stuff like that. Gain up.
So you'll hear our results on that once we try that out, but it definitely looks exciting.
Yes.
And then they had a Zelda segment where Eiji Onuma came up, and everyone was like, okay, here we go, Breath of the Wild. And he comes and he announces, okay, all you guys are expecting Breath of the Wild. I'm not going to be talking about Breath of the Wild 2. It's not here. We'll have more news later on this year, and that's it. So I'm expecting it's going to be E3. Will be the big Zelda 35th anniversary blowout.
I hope so.
And just go ham on it. But they announced basically the remaster of Skyward Sword, which is the only game that was stuck on the Wii because of the motion controls. So they talked about the remastered it, brought it to Switch. They talked about how unique it was, it required motion controls, and how with the Joy-Cons,
they're even better.
With the processing power, it actually works much better. Now, I had no issues with it on Wii. It's an amazing game, great story. It's how the actual whole Zelda series started off. It's like a prequel to how everything started. Awesome game. I enjoyed the motion controls. I felt like the sword fighting made you feel a little bit more like you actually were of consequence, not just mashing a button, but you're actually like dodging and fighting, and it made you feel more like Link. So I enjoyed it. The aiming with the bow and arrow was bar none the best way to do it. Just aim and shoot was phenomenal. But there was a lot of fetch quests. It was a lot of like, go here, do this, go back to the sky, and then, okay, jump down, go over here, go back to the sky. And it was very much like, here are your play areas, and the hub world's in the sky. And I guess for loading purposes, you drop down and you load that area. And the areas are not as big and expansive as you would expect. Like Twilight Princess, the hub world, the big Hyrule was massive. And this did feel like each area was a lot smaller. The dungeons were phenomenal. Like I said, the combat was great. But it wasn't perfect, but I did definitely enjoy it. So I think it might be something I'm going to dive in again on the Switch, have my kids experience it.
Yeah.
And they did announce a special Joy-Con set, Hyrule, which I'm definitely trying to get.
Yeah, that looks beautiful.
Looks amazing.
Yeah. But I like that they also have the button controls for the Switch Lite.
Well, for any. You can use Switch. Traditional. So if you don't want to use motion controls, they map the swinging of the sword up, down, left, right, and diagonals to the right thumbstick, so you can swing your sword in the direction you want. Yeah. So you can still play the game the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're on the Switch Lite or if you want to use a Pro Controller, which is probably what I'll do. I'll probably try to play it Pro Controller-wise, because I'm not a fan of the Joy-Cons desyncing and all that kind of stuff, to give it a go. But like I said, I did play it with motion controls, and I love the point and shoot aiming ability of it. Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see how well it feels on a controller.
Yeah, I'm interested to play. I never played it on the Wii, so this would be my first time going through it. So I'm looking forward to giving it a try and running through. Yeah,
and then that was it for Zelda. So we are expecting a 35th anniversary blowout with Wind Waker and Twilight Princess probably coming on a single disc for Switch to resell those two games. Or maybe even as another surprise, they include Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Everyone wanted that HD remaster, which it was remastered on the 3DS, so it did look better than the N64, but it still was aged, right? So if they brought that up and did a true HD, like fresh coat of paint on it and really brought it in, oh man, that would sell like hotcakes. Get all four of those 3D games, and then you buy Skyward Sword separately, and you basically have the gamut of it. And then now with Breath of the Wild 2 coming out potentially at the end of this year, a great way to kind of get all of the Zelda things going. So I'm expecting a lot more announcements at E3 or its own special Zelda Anniversary Direct.
Yeah, I would assume they'll do their own kind of direct beforehand for something like that, and then save the other announcements for E3. That's just my guess, though.
Yeah, makes sense.
With Nintendo, you never know, though.
You never know with Nintendo these days.
They just throw it out like, oh, we're going to have a mini direct or a direct coming out.
And then they ended the direct with one more thing announcement, as you always do. Yeah. And so we were thinking, okay, well, they announced Zelda, they're not talking about Breath of the Wild 2, so will it be another Smash character, or will they go ahead and talk about Metroid Prime? Because it was in development, they canceled, they restarted. Are they going to give us a trailer? More news coming, 2022, something.
Yeah.
And no, they ended it on Splatoon 3, where we expected a sequel to come, because Splatoon does very, very well, but they've only ever had one game per console, the first being on the Wii U, the second one on the Switch, so we expected the third one to come out on the next-gen console.
Yeah.
But it looks post-apocalyptic. It looks like a single-player open-world game. At least the trailer made it seem that way until the music kicked up and we realized, oh no, it's just another same old Splatoon. But it looks like you fall in Fortnite style. Yeah. You dive bomb into the arena and then go at it. Yeah. Versus you start on either side and away you go. So they're making it a little different and new weapons. I wouldn't be surprised if they had like special weapons scattered on the map to really engage people on running around and exploring. Yeah. But it's more Splatoon, and it said coming 2022. So again, a game that is way out there, more than a year away at least. And that was how they ended it. So while it is a big franchise, especially on the Japanese side of the Nintendo fan base, I didn't feel like that was the best closing for this.
Yeah, it wasn't like a big bang at the ending there.
Like
that they could have done
a tease to a new Mario game. Some people thought a new Mario Party, Mario Kart 9. Yeah. We're using the Mario Kart on the Switch is the Wii U version. They just ported over. They don't have an official new one, which they've done every single system, portable and console. They've always been a new Mario Kart for that system. Yeah. The fact that we don't have one for Switch is pretty sad. So I thought for sure we get an announcement. Mario Kart 9, more news to come, 2022 or something, but it's coming. No, they decided to hold back on that too. So
yeah, the only Mario Kart they did was that RC.
Yes, the live
Mario
one,
Kart, which doesn't really count as a new Mario Kart game.
Especially because you can't play against 8 players and you can't play 4 players and it's 2 players max and away you go, right?
It's very difficult to play.
So yeah, that was it. So overall, the highlights for me were, I was happy for a Skyward Sword HD remaster, but I wanted more on Zelda as a whole for the 35th anniversary. I knew there wasn't going to be Pokemon because with the 25th anniversary, the understanding was they were going to hold their own show, which they did, which we'll talk about as well. Yeah. But I just expected more from the franchises that they have. We barely got anything. We got a new Mario sports game, and we got a talk about Zelda via a remaster, a port. But there was no new game announcements, no new surprises.
They announced an expansion for...
You're right. Age of Calamity. I missed that. So Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, which again, I was thinking, okay, Zelda, 35th anniversary, they're expanding, trying to get all the lore and stuff out there before the sequel comes out, because maybe they're going to connect some stuff. And I was like, okay, that's cool. But again, it was of no big consequence. And I just felt like they just missed the mark a little bit on this direct. So...
yeah. I agree 100%. There's nothing that just really wowed me, like 1 or 2 things that were like, oh, okay, that was unexpected, but nothing like, oh, I gotta get that and make sure I have that pre-ordered or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. So that was the Nintendo Direct. That was our thoughts on it. We're gonna jump forward to the State of Play PlayStation. So they came out with theirs on the 25th, and 25th, and so it was surprising. I wasn't even aware of it. I missed a tweet or whatever it was. So I ended up watching it the day after. It was half an hour, and they were going through a lot of the games that they announced in their June showcase last year, and they focused on a few games here and there.
First one's Crash.
So Crash is officially coming to PS5. It's a new... I wouldn't really say if it's upraised. It's 60 frames per second, a lot of quicker load times. I don't know if the graphics are a little bit better, but it is basically the ultimate definitive version of it. And so those who have the original version can get the PS5 version for free. Yeah. For those who don't have it, there's reason to get it, and they explain, more of Crash. There was no new game modes or anything. It just was more Crash. Yeah. So they opened up with a Crash game. Then they jumped into Returnal, which they announced in the June thing. The was it Annapurna? I can't remember who was the creator on this one, but anyhow, it was them. You're basically, every time you die, you get revived, reborn, and you have to redo. The world changes, and you have to kind of go back and try to figure out this mystery. While essentially you're kind of going mad because her memories start appearing,
and she's at her old house, and it's exactly how she left it, and everything like that. So Yes, it was more like a horror. I think they classified it as a horror type game.
Yeah,
with, space
with some mystery in there. So they had that again. It didn't really speak to me. So I kind of moved on. They jumped up to Knockout City, which was what they showed on Nintendo Direct. It's coming to PlayStation as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's coming to Xbox as well at this point, right? Yeah. So okay, more of the same. That's fine. We move forward. They showed this new game called Sifu, which is like this hand-to-hand combat. Karate.
The trailer looked interesting where he's going through the hallway.
Yeah, but then when he gets knocked out or killed, then he wakes up older. And then as you see the trailer go on, he gets like more gray hair, his hair's longer. So every time you die, you age. But then is there like a limit? Like once you're an old man, you die? Like I don't know how that works, but it's a melee fighting kind of beat 'em up style game with I guess combos and stuff. So it looked interesting. Again, not didn't really speak to me, but it was more of that.
The trailer looked more interesting than anything. Like I don't think I'd actually play it, but it was interesting to see that type of what it would be like.
Exactly. Then they jumped into Solar Ash, which they also revealed in June. And you're this guy who's like, or this I can't remember this creature.
It was a girl. It's a girl. You're using your speed and agility,
and you're skating through. And I'm like, okay, it didn't really speak to me.
It looked all like mashy and blurry and just like hard to figure out at the beginning.
Yeah, it's a lot of turquoise and pink and not much else, right? So it's
and even the monsters were just black. Like I couldn't tell what they were, or they just looked like lines,
blobs. It is what it is. I'm sure that speaks to someone.
Yeah,
it's a platforming game with a lot of speed mechanics and stuff to it, but it just didn't speak to me.
Skating around.
Then we got a Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, so I guess a new expansion or DLC or whatever. So for those who are fans of Five Nights at Freddy's, I'm not a horror fan. You're not a horror fan. So again, didn't speak to us. We skip forward. Then we got more of Oddworld Soulstorm, which again was announced last year. So we got more on that, and they showed more of the game, and it's not just about hurting people, but there's a lot more. What do you call it? Like upgrades and abilities and other things like to Abe that you can play with in the environment and stuff.
Yeah.
It was more of what the game does. If you're a fan, great. The good news is that it's free to PS5 people come when it releases in April. They said that it will be free. Yeah, so it'll launch on PS4 and PS5 on April 6th, free to PlayStation Plus subscribers, as we mentioned. So I can't confirm it's free for PS4 members, but for PS5 for sure.
Yeah.
Your PS Plus, you're getting it for free. So I'm like, well, if I don't have to pay for it,
exactly,
I'll give it a go. But it didn't speak to me. The whole possess a guy to use his abilities, and then you have to use the crowd mentality, let them die and take over traps so that you can get through. And I'm like, I don't know. It might be cool, but it just didn't speak to me. So
same here.
We move on. Then we jumped into Kenna Bridge of Spirits, and this is where I was like, okay, this is for me. This is the Zelda-like action role-playing adventure style game. Open world, you get upgrades, abilities, powers, whatever. There's combat. There looks like there's puzzle solving with nature.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm all in. They showed more of that. It looked pretty cool. And did they have a release date? Yes, August of this year. So I'm like, all right, I'm all in for this game. I'm excited for that one. What were your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, it looks interesting. I don't know if I'll play it. I'll wait to see how you find it first. But I did like how you can use arrows to move yourself. And I think you use your... Is there an eagle in it or a bird in it that you...
There's different animals. Yeah. There's these little furry guys and different...
Yeah.
So I guess they call them spirits, and you have to wake them up and they help. I don't know.
Yeah. So it looked interesting. It looked beautiful. The scenery and everything the graphics look great, but I'll wait for you to try and let me know.
Sounds good. Then we jumped into Deathloop. And we got to say more of Deathloop. But the game looks great.
Yeah.
It has a good premise. It is another roguelite where you die, you come back alive, you die, you learn, you get better abilities, or you get a better path, and you get further along and you progress the story. But you're going to die a lot. You're going to be replaying events over and over again. The story sounds like it could be interesting as he's trying to uncover why you're stuck in the loop and how do you break the loop. Yeah. But again, it's just a shooter, quick shooter. Yeah. Jump in, kill this guy, one or two bullets, and the people are dead. But at the same time, you're also dying really quickly.
Everyone's
so it's got to be pixel perfect. This is where this guy is. This is where this guy is, and it's trial and error. And the more times you die, the more you learn the right path of where to go.
Okay, I know 3 guys over here. This is how they react. And so you're memorizing as you go, and the better memory you have, I'm sure the better you'll do. But it's going to be a lot of repetitive play, I think, and well. It could be interesting if it ever comes out for PS Plus or anything like that. I would definitely give it a try.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're gonna charge for it because they didn't mention anything about PS Plus, but
definitely
it could come out
down the line,
6 months down the road as a game, right?
Yeah.
And then they ended it with Final Fantasy VII Remake basically part 2. Yeah. So they officially have the next part coming out,
which looks beautiful, like just absolutely beautiful.
Yes, and they talked about if you have the PS4 version, you get the upgraded PS5 for free. You'll still need to pay for the new episode, obviously, but there is additional content, and they also talked about like a special story with Yuki. I can't remember her name, but basically that is going to be like released now or within the next week for PlayStation players before like actual part 2 comes out.
Yeah. So and then they showed the side by side of a PS5 and PS4 gameplay and how the difference would look that way.
That's right. So I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, and that was pretty much it for PlayStation.
Yeah, it was quick. It was 5 games, 6 games. It was probably 8. But yeah, you know, nothing really caught my eye there either. And a lot of them were just things that they announced already and just, you know, going over it again, reminding people, you know, if you get PS4 versions, a lot of them or all of them are upgradable for free.
Yes.
And just, you know, what they're in the works with and what's coming out soon. So this was more of a reminder, nothing really new announced.
That's it. And so that was the state of play. So again, wasn't as exciting for me. The only one game that really stood out was Kenna for me, and that was it. There wasn't much. So if we move on, the last bit of news was the Pokemon.
The biggest one in my mind.
Yes.
You know, I'm a big Pokemon fan. And because it's the 25th year anniversary, I love the intro that they did.
Oh, man.
It was just so good.
So for those who aren't in the know, it's the 25th anniversary for Pokemon. And so they did it right. They opened up the show with just a whole history from the original black and white, red and green in Japan, and red and blue in America, Game Boy games. And slowly they just... Every milestone. They came out with this game. They came out with a card game. They came out with
anime. They came,
everything. Toys, every adapter
figures,
and thing.
Oh my gosh, I forgot so many things that they came out
card
with.
readers and printers and sticker things and like just. They went to like, we went to Pokemon Coliseum where you got to battle in 3D, and then Pokemon Snap. They mentioned that, and we jumped, you know, all around, and then back to like the portable versions, and every titpole generation, like the Johto, the Silver and Gold, and then Ruby and Sapphire, and then it was then we did Fire Red, Leaf Green, and then they just every single temple
year
showed up.
They showed it, and
even the small unique like VR experiences and the little toy to life kind of character games and like the mobile games and just everything was here. They did it right. It was a great this is where we've come from. This is where we've gone. This is all the improvements we've made. And I was like, okay, they're gonna and this is where we're going next kind of thing. And I'm like, this is what we're waiting for. And so they did this beautiful montage, but then they just kind of jumped to the guy behind the desk and talking about Pokemon and stuff. And then they opened up with Pokemon Snap, which I was all for.
Yeah.
Looked beautiful. Got to see more of it. We saw that there's different biomes. There's going to be more than just one track. Day and night cycles, weather, all that kind of stuff that takes into play, but different areas. And I'm hoping if there only is 4 or 5 areas, will they add DLC that give you more?
I would assume they will. I think this is a type of game where they'll only release a certain amount of Pokemon, and then they'll say, new ones have merged over, or we found new lands, or whatever it will be. And I think this is how they'll continue it going with some DLCs.
Yes.
And then you can rate the pictures. You get different star ratings. There's 4 that you need to collect, depending on the shiny, by giving it a special item. And day night, you can make them jump with food and different things, or swim or interact with each other. So very interesting. It looked again beautiful. It's something when they announced it we were very excited about and wanted to try it out. I had played the original Pokemon Snap when I was younger, when it first came out, and I would just replay that over and over and over again and try and get different pictures, and you could save which ones you wanted to keep or replace it with new ones. So it's always hard to be like, which one do I like? They're very similar or whatever it may be. So it was very cool to see that, and that was just with the original 151 Pokemon. So now they have so many more. They have all up to the current generation of Pokemon. So very cool to see.
Yep, and I like the photo mode where you can post your stuff online. You can decorate pictures. You get likes or things. I don't know if you'll get if you're top, you'll get bonuses and stuff.
They said they might
contests.
Post yours on their Twitter and things like that. So it'll be very interesting to see how many people get into it. I think it was very well received, the first game, and the announcement for this new Pokemon Snap was also very well received. So I think it will sell well. But there was also some other announcements that they did that was very exciting.
Yes.
New ones.
So they didn't announce support for Labo, unfortunately. I was looking in the fine print. It isn't there. I'm hoping that they add it via an update, just like they did with Mario Odyssey, Smash Brothers, and Zelda. So we know that old games cannot be updated for it. And this game just screams VR.
Yeah.
You're in there. You're looking at a 360 view taking pictures. Why not use the actual VR camera? And that underwater level was so amazing. Yeah. I'm like, having this with Pokemon and getting the perfect zoom in pose, like, it just works. So I'm really hoping that it comes out with it. I'll play the game regardless, but I really want to experience that in VR.
I mean, I think it would go a long way to have that and actually feel like you're sitting in that dome.
Yeah, for those who have it, it's great. If you don't have it, it's not needed to play the game, but it's an added
feature that you can do.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
That's it. So
just like in Squadrons, where you could either play it in VR or you could play it normal mode. Either way, you can play the game, but you have those different experiences and you feel like you're in the cockpit of the fighter.
Oh, yeah. So that was the opening. So it was very, very strong. And then they kind of jumped through...
they kind of showed the time clicking back on
on that. Like, this is Sword and Shield, and let's go back. And then they stopped right in Sinnoh, which was Diamond and Pearl. And so we opened up with the game, and it's in the new graphics. We've got it looks very much like Link's Awakening, very 3D.
Yeah, Animal Crossing Link's Awakening kind of 3D me-ish. Characters,
but it's the official remakes. Everyone's been wanting the new glittering diamond and shining pearl, and so they're coming out exactly as the game as you remember it with updated graphics. Don't see if there's anything new added, but it's basically updated graphics. I know sometimes when they release stuff, I readily a lot of the features on the newer games, like having the running shoes always on, or having to be able to get your bicycle swap within a button, features like that, they implemented in the old games. They fixed that. So I'm wondering if there's special features like that they're adding into this game to like get rid of some of the cumbersome, like the HM. Remember the whole old HM slave? They got rid of that. Even in Let's Go, you don't have to deal with that anymore, right? You have like your main Pokemon that's not part of your 6. That actually it is part of your 6, but can have those moves that cut and stuff that doesn't take away from his attack.
That's right.
So I'm wondering if they've implemented these kind of fixes in this one as well.
Yeah, make it easy to play a lot easier and more comfortable and enjoyable to play. Because who wants to really go back and have to go through their options to find cut or whatever it may be that you're using? Yeah, it just makes it a lot easier and better.
So for those that are fans of Diamond and Pearl, I was a big Diamond fan. Dialga was my guy, so that was one of the few games that I actually got through and beat the whole game. Because it's weird for me. Like, I beat the original, and then Silver and Gold, I never finished that one. And then Ruby and Sapphire, I got through that one. Diamond and Pearl, I finished it. Then X and Y, I did not. I didn't even come close. And it's kind of been like hard to find time to sit down and go through. So I remember beating Diamond and Pearl, and so this kind of gives me a way of like replaying it with better graphics and having my kids partake
I think I'll pick it up as well, because that's one of the games I didn't play. I got all the first one done. The second one, I'm pretty sure I got almost done. I think my brother and I shared a console and just took turns playing it. And then I got back into it in XY, and then Ultra Sun and Moon, and then...
so even Ruby and Sapphire didn't get much of that.
Yeah, so I skipped a few generations, just because I was out of it for a bit, and playing other systems and games. But I'm really looking forward to. I was happy that they decided to remake this one, so I can get through it. And then I'm wondering if you can transfer it to Pokemon Home, and then it can be part of your Pokédex. You can get the National Dex kind of completed that way. And update, so it's all in your new system.
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure going forward, everything's going to be home compatible, especially on the Switch. They want to get that going. But then they went further. They talked about Sinnoh in the past. They talked about, like, a long time ago. Again, I don't know why it's in Sinnoh region, but that was the choice they made. And they talked about this new game called Pokemon Legends.
Yeah. It looks so good. It's an RPG type game.
Open world.
Yeah, open world, sneaking in bushes and throwing a ball and trying to catch Pokemon. And then you actually have them fighting, like the movement of Lucario coming at someone, doing their attack, and then coming back to you, and then coming at your Pokemon. It just looks so good. And having an open world.
Yes.
And trying to collect, like there's 3 different starters from different generations. Yeah. So it's a wide mix, and Arceus is in it, and he's like the first Pokemon, like the creator of Pokemon and stuff like that. So it's like a
Pokemon Legends
history, like a history of what happened and how he's involved. So it looks so good. It was like a Legend of Zelda meets, Pokemon, legitly like open world, newer graphics, beautiful kind of environment.
Yes.
So that's something I'm really looking forward to, but that's not until 2022.
Correct.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I think this is what all major Pokemon fans have been clamoring for: an open world 3D experience.
Yes.
Wild Pokemon, the wild areas, like that's what we want. We don't want random spawns anymore. We want to see them in the wild, go and catch them. And this gave us I felt like it was a step in the right direction, but not quite there. It doesn't look like there's multiplayer. It looks like it's a solo experience. There might be battling and stuff added in, or that might be a feature that they just didn't talk about. But it was like you pick if you're a guy or a girl. You're gonna go out. You're discovering the legend of like how things have kind of come to be, and I'm like, that's cool. But what we want is we want the open field, random Pokemon running around. We gotta catch it like real life. You gotta throw the ball and catch it, and not it's not just
run into
hit a button
and then
and fight them and whatever. Yeah. So I'm like, that's great. We wanted the battle to actually make sense and not just have a guy punch and then damage hits. You actually have them interact, which seems like it's the case, which is awesome. Big open world to explore, but it's like, okay, but we wanted like all the Pokemon. We wanted an open world where like you can catch any Pokemon, and maybe they'll add regions and stuff, but I feel like they're gonna try to franchise this and do Legends this and Legends this and slowly add more regions versus making this, just call it Pokemon Legends and then just add, even if you gotta do a DLC, here's a new region, and slowly you just get all the Pokemon. You wanna be able to have multiplayer, to be able to play with friends, just like in the anime. You're walking down, you have you and you have your two buddies, and then you get into a fight, you run into some Rocket members or other trainers, and they wanna battle, and so now each of you throw a Pokemon in, you're battling to save, or there's a world event, bad guys are there, and all the trainers in the area rush to help someone, and it just feels more like the anime, more like what we wanted to be in that world as much as possible, and be less button mashy and like randomness, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I felt like this is a step in the right direction, but they just need to go all the way. Add the multiplayer, add playing with each other, not just like meeting up with random people online, but like actually playing and fighting together and stuff like that. And having a bigger Pokedex, like having all them in there. I think if we get there, that's all we need. Like we don't need the traditional Pokemon anymore. Make this the Sword and Shield successor is in this open world. You go out, all new Pokemon, explore it, find out what you can catch, and you're gonna meet up with other buddies, and you can be friends or rivals, and away you go. I'm like, that's amazing. And then you imagine coming against a legendary, and you all gotta use your Pokemon together to take them down, and then this would be the part that doesn't make sense. You all go into your own screen to catch it, because only one of you technically could catch it. Yeah. So that'd be kind of sucky if you're all fighting to who gets it, but you all battle it together, and then you'll have the opportunity to catch one for yourself. But
has any Pokemon game have multiplayer? I don't remember any other than trading.
They had like double battles and stuff like that, where you could battle like in a team, where each of you throw out a Pokemon. And I don't remember if that was in Sun and Moon when they first introduced that, or what it was. But I remember they did have a double battle system where you could, like, I know that in the game you could put like two Pokemon in, and then I think there was like your buddy or rival would go and then they throw one in.
Computerized.
And I'm wondering if there was an online mode. I'm pretty sure they released it in one of the games, and it may have been Sun and Moon, where you could go play with friends and actually do like it's a 4-player connection, and it's like 2 players against 2 players, and you each throw in a Pokemon, so you're each controlling your own Pokemon, 2 versus 2. And I'm like, that's cool. Yeah. But like, let's do that. Like, let's kind of. Like, I mean, Team Rocket comes out and Ash throws Pikachu, and then Misty throws out her Staryu, and then Brock throws it on it, and you're all helping out whichever way you can, and it's just, let's go. Like, that's awesome. Yeah.
I love that you can actually throw a ball in this instead of like running into someone and then battling.
And then it'd be cool if it's like, oh, if it breaks out, it gets mad, it rushes at you, like Detective Pikachu, and it's like, oh, you gotta like be prepared and have your guy out to defend you in case that happens. Yeah. Like, let's go all the way. So it's a step in the right direction. If this game sells well, they will continue to do it. If this game does not sell,
DLCs and stuff like that, if it sells well.
Oh yeah, but if it doesn't, then they're like, okay, clearly this is not what the fan base wants, and we want this open world experience. We want you to just don't dip your toe in, just go all out, and we'll be there. We'll be there to support you guys. So a great announcement.
To see like more of it in gameplay, and explain how many Pokemon are in there and what kind of decks it is, and it was an early kind of.
But it does take place canonically in the past. Yeah, because it's like hundreds of years ago in the Sinnoh region, and then this is like you're telling a legend of what it was like compared to like the Diamond and Pearl games are like, this is what it is now. This is before that kind of thing, and hence why those 3 starters were brought in, it said, from other regions that the professor was exploring. Yeah. But the rest of the Pokemon seemed to be from the Sinnoh region. At least that's what it sounded like from the game. Because we saw the Luxray or Luxio, I can't remember which one it was, in the catching, and the other Pokemon like Lucario and stuff like that were all in it. So I don't know if there was any other Pokemon other than the starters that were not from the generation. But again, I haven't played Diamond in so long that it's hard to... I know Lucario was in it, and I know that Garchomp was in it. And I'm pretty sure they were both Diamond. Like, they were introduced in Diamond, right?
I'm not sure if they're Diamond or X and Y. I want to say Lucario was X and Y, but I could be wrong.
I feel like it was before. I know that the Zoroark came after Lucario, came in the game after, and I felt like he was X and Y, but I could be wrong.
Possibly. I could be mixing it up for sure.
But either way, it looked phenomenal.
Yes.
I'm all on board. When I saw that, I was like, ooh, do I want the Diamond and Pearl remix or do I want this? Do I want to dive in this and get that new, fresh experience? Yeah. Try it out. So
the good news is they are separated by 2021.
Yeah, end of 2021 is the remakes, and then 2022 will be Legends. Yeah. To kind of get you into that. Like, you're into this region, you're into these Pokemon, now go out into the wild and play like a different version of it, all updated graphics and stuff. So I'm excited. I kind of wonder if, again, this is 2022, Splatoon 3 is 2022. Is it because they're planning on announcing that Switch Pro end of this year, and a lot of these big games, like Breath of the Wild 2 potentially, didn't have any information on it? Are they delaying it because, while it will work on the original Switch hardware, it will play better on the Pro? Yeah. It'll have better frames per second, less lag, less slowdown, or in the event that it's the same frame rate, better graphics, right? Yeah. For some of these open world games, you definitely don't want to have performance hits.
Oh, no, that would suck. That would take away from the game tremendously.
Yeah. Now, the odd thing enough, though, there was only 3 game announcements, and there were decent games. There was no mention of that, I want to say MOBA.
Unite? Pokemon Unite?
Yeah.
So I got an email from them saying that they're doing a beta for Canada only, Canadian residents only.
When's that?
To pre-register for it.
Okay, so I'll jump in on that.
Yeah, so I'll send it to you as well, but I pre-registered for it. So I'm hoping to... Now, with the beta, they'll wipe,
of course,
your stuff when it does.
But you can try it out, give your impressions, and be like, yeah, this is something you want to jump in on, or... I mean, we can give our impressions to the people. We're in Canada.
Yeah, so we can figure out... so I assume it's except for iOS and Android, so I'm not too sure if the beta will be for Switch as well, or just handheld, but it'll be interesting to see.
Well, if it's for Switch, we'll get some HD capture, we'll put some of our impressions up for it.
So... Yeah, they did say recording is not allowed.
Ah, of course. Yeah. Of course.
But we can still put our, give our...
We can give our thoughts and impressions.
So we can go from there.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting. And then the other game that people were predicting besides the Diamond and Pearl remakes was a Let's Go Johto.
Yes, right? Which I was kind of hoping that they would do as well. So that could be down the line.
Yeah, so maybe that's next year. Yeah. So if they're doing Sinnoh here, Legends... And then end of next year is a Let's Go game, and then that gives them another year before they jump into the next gen, which could be Pokemon Sword and Shield successor, or Gen 10 or whatever it is, right? So we'll have to wait and see, but maybe that's why. Maybe they haven't released that game. They're designing the Pokemon, they're getting the story together, but then they have to decide, do we want to go traditional or do we want to do this Legends style? Well, let's put Legends out first. Let's feel it out. If it does well and people want that, we'll make sure that this is using that engine with all the new Pokemon. And so they have time. They have time, because if they get the story out, all the designs of the Pokemon, obviously on the Switch, it's going to be 3D now. Yeah. Regardless. And then they just decide, okay, are we going to release it Sword and Shield style, or are we going to release it Legend style? And then go that route.
Yeah, I hope it's Legend style, but I still have to play it, so we'll see.
Have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
All right, so that was the majority of the crazy news that was coming out from the gaming scene. There was a lot of movie stuff coming out. We're not going to jump in on this video, but that was our thoughts on the Nintendo Direct, the State of Play, and the Pokemon Presents Spectacular. We are expecting a lot more come June. Jeff Keighley has officially announced that they are doing another Summer Game Fest this year. And because I was part of some conversations with him last year, we are getting the emails already ahead of time to make sure we're ready for that, and with any of our suggestions. So I think that I'm going to reach out to him and see if we can do some more special calls and special interviews and stuff like that. But yeah, let us know. What do you think? Were you excited by any of this crazy game news? What are your expectations for 2021? It seems like this year is already shaping up to be much better than last year, 2020, which is great. Do you expect there to be a big E3 blowout, or do you think everyone's gonna do their own thing a la Summer Game Fest and skip out on E3 entirely? Let us know. Drop a comment below, like the video, subscribe to the channel, And as always, friends, stay nerdy.